Supervisor Training Module 7, Emergency Preparedness. We are in a high-risk industry, and there are several emergencies that can pop up at any given time. In most instances on commercial projects, the prime contractor will have an emergency response plan, or ERP, developed, and it will be communicated or reviewed at the site orientation. For sites that do not have a plan, a site-specific ERP will be developed by a Saunders Landscaping representative. That representative is typically you, the supervisor. The plan will then be reviewed and signed off by all employees on site. Emergency response plans should also be discussed in toolbox meetings and daily hazard assessments. On commercial projects, the instructions of the prime contractor will always supersede the Saunders Landscaping evacuation and emergency plans. You as the supervisor are responsible for implementing the emergency response plans, confirming that all personnel are familiar with the plan, and testing the plan to assess its effectiveness. You will also gather the pertinent emergency information such as the location of the nearest hospital, fire station, first aid station, etc. to minimize travel time to treatment for all employees. In the safety manual, you will find several scenarios. These are reviewed and tested at least annually. Deficiencies will be corrected immediately upon discovery. Emergency response plans that can be found in the manual include medical emergency, evacuation, fire, chemical spill, equipment upset, motor vehicle accident, and working near underground utilities. All of these ERPs are reviewed in the general employee orientation. In order to be prepared for an emergency on site, you as a supervisor must be familiar with the locations of emergency equipment. On each site, you must be aware of the locations of the air horns, first aid kits, first aid stations, fire extinguishers, etc. Let's now review what emergency equipment you should have at your disposal in your Saunders Landscaping trailer and truck. The emergency equipment located in your trailer and the office includes the first aid kit, the fire extinguisher, spill kit, eye wash station, air horn, OH&S book, SDS book, safety manual, and the policies and rules posted. Emergency equipment located in designated company trucks includes first aid kit, fire extinguisher, spill kit, and safety manual. All first aid certified personnel will also be identifiable on site as they will have a sticker on their hard hat. In company trailers and at the office, there will also be a list of certified first aiders within the company. If you are the only trade on site and there's not an emergency response plan, you will have to make your own. It is important to make sure that the site-specific plan you develop reflects the work you are doing on site at that time. Steps for completing a site-specific emergency response plan. Step 1. Fill out the site name, address, and the date the plan was developed. 2. Complete your daily hazard assessment. 3. Identify potential emergencies based on your hazard assessment. 4. List the type of emergency in the line provided. There may be more than one. 5. Identify the designated person who will be in charge if the emergency occurs. This is usually you, the supervisor. 6. List all key items the designated person oversees. You may not need to fill in all 6 points. If you have more than 6 points, please use a second sheet. 7. Fill out the location of the pertinent emergency equipment. 8. Fill out the location of the nearest hospital, medical center, or OIS clinic. 9. List all first aiders on your crew that are currently on site. 10. Fill out the transportation plan and whom to call if required. 11. Mark the location of the safety data sheets, or SDSs. 12. List the procedures for rescue and evacuation. 13. Have all workers that participated and/or have been trained in the site-specific emergency response plan print and initial the area provided. 14. The supervisor prints and signs at the bottom. 15. This form stays on site until no longer needed and is then turned into the office. In addition to the site-specific emergency response plan, whenever you are working on a site that will require fall protection equipment, you will need to create a fall protection plan. Remember, only workers with fall arrest training are permitted to use the fall protection equipment. Equipment is inspected and certified annually as per legislation. Let's review the steps for completing a fall protection plan. 1. Fill out the company you are working for, the site name and site address. 2. Identify all the hazards that are associated with working at heights and the fall hazard on the work site. 3. Identify all fall protection systems that are to be used at the work site. This can include travel restraint, restricts the workers' movements in the fall hazard area by allowing them to reach the edge, but they are not able to fall over the edge. This is usually used for leading edge work where there is unprotected end of formwork, floors, roofs, decks, or other walkway or workway surfaces. Personal fall arrest system. This includes a body harness with adequate attachment points and a lanyard equipped with a shock absorber, if appropriate, or similar device. A safety net. A passive type of fall protection designed to catch a worker after they have fallen to help prevent contact with the surface below and to prevent injury. They are erected around an elevated work area in such a way that if a worker falls from the work area, they will be caught in the net. Control zone. An approach to fall protection for workers performing work on a level working surface within 2 meters of an unguarded edge above a surface or thing that could cause harm to the worker if they were to fall on the surface or thing. An example of this would be having a barricade or line that no one can cross, or placing a person there to guard an area to make sure no one goes past a certain point. 4. Identify and write down detailed procedures for the identified fall protection system. 5. Inspect all aspects of the fall protection system using the procedures provided in our policy and the fall protection training. 6. Develop a rescue plan that would be required if a worker were to fall or need rescuing. 7. Have the person who developed the plan print and sign and date in the area provided. 8. Have all workers present date, print their name, and sign in the boxes provided. 9. Be sure to check yes or no to confirm if they are trained in the use of fall protection. Please note, workers who have been properly trained must have their valid card present as proof of their competency. It is important to practice our ERP plans so that we can ensure all employees understand their roles and responsibilities, and also so that we can improve our plans. Let's review the steps to complete an ERP drill. 1. Fill out the emergency being simulated. This might be assigned, or you may select a scenario. 2. Fill out the date, time, and weather conditions, and the number of attendees. 3. Describe the drill being simulated. In some instances, this might be created for you. However, you may have to create a scenario. 4. Simulate the emergency with your crew. 5. Fill out the elements you performed well. For example, everyone responded promptly to the horn blast and followed the site evacuation plan, and the elements that need to be improved. For example, an employee went to their car instead of the designated muster point. 6. Review the ERP in the manual and provide any suggestions or corrective actions that should be made based on the drill. 7. The supervisor prints and signs at the bottom. 8. Return the form to the office where a manager will print and sign at the bottom upon review. If someone requires medical services, there are several different options. They can go to a hospital emergency room, their family physician, or an occupational injury service clinic, or OIS. It is always the choice of the injured worker of where they would like to go, unless it is via ambulance or a serious medical emergency. If it is a serious medical emergency and you are transporting them, the emergency room at the hospital is always the best choice. The OIS clinics are designed for people who are hurt at work. It helps employers and workers by giving the injured worker quick access to medical services at a specialized clinic throughout the province. In general, there is less wait time, and the goal is to get the injured worker back to their regular duties as quickly as possible. The OIS clinic works with both the worker and the employer to do this. The injured worker is not required to visit one of these clinics. However, it should be explained to them that these clinics specialize in work-related injuries and offer expertise in the types of injuries that may happen on our sites. In the safety manual, you will find the list of OIS clinics in Alberta as well as the services available at each one. Services may include soft tissue injuries, strains and sprains, suturing, minor burns, inhalation injuries, fractures and dislocations, abrasions, concussions and head injuries, eye injury, crush injury, tetanus injections, drain fluid from joints, pulmonary function tests. They also note how many kilometers it is to the nearest X-ray, pharmacy, and lab. Please note that some of these services may be available on site. To demonstrate your competency in this section, you'll be required to complete the Module 7 quiz. You must receive 80% or higher to be certified as trained. In addition, we will also require copies of the following correctly completed items. 1. Site-specific ERP, and 2. A fall protection plan, only if you are certified.